hate it a lot.
There's only one really gross chore.
It's really bad in mosquito season. I never thought I would have one.
The view is a lot better.
Sometimes it's smelly.
It's pretty cold, sometimes dark.
Definitely not a dirty family secret.
That's our $250,000 outdoor toilet. I'll actually get you the real numbers, but this thing cost us a couple hundred and saved us a couple $100,000. Before we get into the numbers though, let me give you a little tour. There it is. There's not much to look at. And this is our view. So as you can see, it's open air. It has natural lighting, natural ventilation. It's not dark and scary with like little creepy things in it. It's just very simple. But if you want to know the technical parts, this is key. This is not just an outhouse. This is not like a dug hole in the ground. This thing is built up above ground. I'll show you. Whoa. Careful. I have fallen in the snow running to the outhouse. Okay. So you see how we built the ramp up so that we can have a platform under here. So it's just 4 feet and it's treated posts and it's treated plywood here. You can see there's actually 2 chambers and they're above ground. So there's just like a drain coming out, which I don't think actually ever drains anything, but I put it in there. So here's how it works. You see right now where the toilet seat is? It's over that side. So we can use that side for 6 months and then move it over to this side. There's actually, you can see a little plywood false floor there. So every 6 months we move that seat over and let the other side compost for 6 months. And then we just pop this cover off right here and dig it out. And it's all just here. We don't really need the extra soil here. We got lots of land and dirt. So we just spread it out and put some grass seed on it. And because it has composted for a full 6 months since we last used it, it is not gross, I promise. It's just like compost. So this thing will never like fill up. It can just be used forever. So besides the plywood and that pedestal, the rest of this is all just salvaged wood and materials. So the plywood, you know, it was $50 and this fiberglass pedestal was about 150. So this thing cost us $200 and of course a couple days to build. In fact, I think we have an old video where we made this. So you can maybe check that out if you're really curious about how we made this. But the really important part of this video is that by building this and using this, it's literally changed our life. And it's because this thing saved us $250,000. And you say, that's baloney. And I would say, I'll show you the numbers. I got receipts. Oh, and I guess I should show you how it works. We use wood chips or sawdust. There's all sorts of different, you could use leaf bits or whatever kind of organic-y stuff you got. And the toilet is not gross like an outhouse. There's no like big puddle of poo down there. It's just like a mound of sawdust. Look at that. I've seen grosser things. And this is how it works. You take a little bit of sawdust and you put it in. And that's it. It's easy. There's always birds and, well, squirrels around. But I thought it would still be fun to put a little bird feeder out here. Oh yeah. All right. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for birds. But think about this. If you don't have a flushing toilet, then you don't need a lot of running water. So we just have a rainwater collection system. We don't have a drilled well. And drilled wells here cost, not only do they cost a ton, but they're also risky. Like you can pay $30,000, $40,000 and not get water. Or you could get water and it could be bad and you'd have to treat it for lots of minerals. And if it's deep, you also need like a serious pump. You know, we're off grid, we're on solar. So a serious pump would be a bit of a problem too. We'd need more solar power. Say you get your running water and you get your flush toilet. Well, then you need a septic system. Septic systems can cost 40, 50, $80,000? Say you don't have, 40 grand for a well and 60 grand for a septic system. If you insisted on it, you would have to borrow the money. And to avoid all that, all you have to do is go outside. You can just go outside. And you know what? Today it's minus 10 Celsius, which is about 15 Fahrenheit. But like, you can be outside for a couple minutes, right? This house we built, and it cost about $25,000 Canadian. By the way, I'm talking Canadian dollars. If you're in the States, 25 grand for the house is only like $17,000, $18,000 American. Can you imagine building a house for $25,000 and then paying $100,000 for your water and your septic? It would move you from being able to just pay for it yourself to having a mortgage. Being mortgage free has like enabled an amazing lifestyle here. Let's go look at the numbers, because I just want to prove to you this is like a game changer. Here is the actual data. I talked to a few folks, but one in particular in this area who has installed septic systems and wells recently. So I could give you real prices. And this is what he said. He said, if you phone a septic installer right now, they'll give you the ballpark of $40,000 to $80,000. On the cheaper end, it's for a small house with good soil, maybe gravity fed. On the more expensive side, a big house with bad soil, 40 to 80 grand. And there's a whole bunch of things you didn't think about in your septic system. There's design, soil testing, engineering, then the actual excavation and installation. And material includes tanks, usually 2 concrete tanks, which need to be craned in, pipe, sand, and gravel. And then this didn't used to be the way, but now almost all septic systems have lift pumps and or pressure pumps. Of course, those pumps need controllers and alarm panels and the associated electrical. 40 to 80,000. That's more than we paid for this house. And that's just the septic system. Check the well out. Well, around here, your all-in cost is about $100 a foot. Now that's all in for the well, but that doesn't include the pump, the electrical, and maybe filtering. $100 a foot is just drilled and cased with steel casing. Around here, the average depth of a well is 300 feet. And so that's about $30,000 plus this stuff. You're looking at 35 grand. So if we average the septic, let's call the septic 60 grand. And then let's call the well 35. That's $95,000. But no one's got that sitting around. I mean, I don't. And so that would be the difference between being able to just have some savings and building a little cabin like we did, or having to get a loan or a mortgage. So it gets even worse, because if we look at the average interest rate right now on like household debt, well, let's look at it. So according to Statistics Canada, the average personal loan rate is 9.46. $95,000 for 30 years. I mean, let's try 8%. $250,000. That's $250,000. And the thing is, that's over 30 years. Like $700-800 a month. Like, that's a big deal, right? That's after tax money. In Canada, that means you got to make basically twice that. So there you go. It's a legit $250,000 outhouse. And it's a total game changer. It enables us to like live out here debt free, doing what we want, compared to being committed to a mortgage for decades. So I just got to thinking about something. $250,000 over 30 years. That's about $23 a day for 30 years. Which is like, that's nice and everything, right? But get this. Say you only spend 5 minutes a day in the outhouse. $274 an hour, right? Like, who makes more money than that? And you just enjoying the view. Are you ever worried about creepy things being in there?
Spiders occasionally, and sometimes wasps.
Have you ever been stung?
Not by a wasp. There. Please don't put that in Uncle Jeff.